point out for 1 second, called America's Cultural Revolution, in which they talk about this DEI obsession as being a successor to prior efforts of progressives or communists or what have you to divide America. And they failed to divide America by income level, so they are intentionally trying to divide America by race. The reason I believe that this is true is if you look at this time in our history where people from all around the globe come and earn more than people of European descent. India, China, Cuba, Philippines, Iran, all these people come here, and within a generation they're out living people of European descent. We live at a time where single women under 30 out-earn single men under 30. But nevertheless, we set up this big bureaucracy that says that if I'm a person of color and I inherited $10 million, I'm put upon and should be given preference over somebody who is of European descent who has virtually nothing. We have a bureaucracy in which if somebody comes here from Spain, they're considered an evil European and they have to be penalized. But if somebody comes from Spain, spends 2 generations in Cuba, and then comes here, all of a sudden they're put upon minority. The only way that makes any sense is if you intentionally want to divide America, and it's just so obviously offensive, and it must be confronted wherever we go. I also want to point out the left is very good at using words to confuse people. Earlier today, we were accused of conservatives being for censorship. I think when you don't want to have first or second grade kids reading graphical sexual things, that's not what I consider censorship. But in any event, according to a recent study by Bloomberg, and this is for Jonathan Berry up there, a recent study by Bloomberg, when looking at 2020 and 2021 data for 88 S&P 100 companies, it was found that 94% of new hires went to people of color or other minorities, only 12% European. This, in my opinion, could be the result of companies instituting race-based policies when it comes to hiring and recruitment. I hear that from all sorts of people in my district, by the way. There is no question if you talk to human resource professionals and they can speak off the record, this is happening big time. Mr. Berry, can you discuss how this data might support findings of illegal corporate race-based policies that violate the law?
Congressman, in the ordinary course, if you presented in court that kind of data where you have such a profound mismatch, presumably, between the demographics of who actually is hired and the relevant labor market, and then you couple that with the company's own explicit race-based policy, that's a layup. That's not a hard case. That is textbook racial discrimination under Title VII in many cases.
Okay, I'll give you another question along those lines. In President Biden's first year, approximately 3% of his judicial appointees were white heterosexual men. 3% in his first year in office. Could you comment on that? Would that be evidence of something going on here with the Biden administration?
It's potentially. The standards that govern the president's appointments are, of course, different than private employment. But again, you need to look at the relevant labor market, and here it's. I think that's something that would need a real look. Yes.
Yeah, well, I'm just saying when you have that degree, could you, any one of you, talk? And maybe this isn't exactly on point, but what effect does this pound on some young people that America is a racist country have upon certain groups? I can certainly understand how it empowers politicians, right? But in the classroom, when you are again and again told that in essence you're going to have a harder time succeeding, obviously people come here from other countries, India, China, Philippines, Iran, they don't have a hard problem succeeding, but on some groups may be counterproductive and be the reason why certain ethnic groups aren't doing as well because they keep being told that they shouldn't?
Congressman, good to see you again. I think you're exactly right. It's made to divide. It's made to make people feel inferior. There's no excuse for it anymore. We've been through it for so long now, other than really what you're talking about. It's intentional, and it's made to make us weaker instead of more unified, more patriotic.
Okay, I'll give you an anecdote and then let you comment on it. I was in a classroom, Zoom, and the teacher, white teacher, told a mixed-race classroom that black children made a higher percentage of kids arrested in that school than their total number in the school, and then told the kids that this was evidence of racism. What effect do you think that would have on a little boy or girl in the class who was African American if their teacher is telling them how racist America is and how racist the police is? Do you think that has any effect on their ability to succeed in society? I mean, I can understand how, and when a politician says it, it makes the politician more likely to get elected, but could you comment on that?
Congressman, just briefly, I would say that a lot of education that focuses on critical race theory has the perverse effect of either inculcating a victim mentality in a way that makes for all kinds of unhappy societal occurrences, exactly the kind you're talking about.
Thank you very much.
Chair recognizes Ms. Stansberry from New Mexico.
All right, well, start by saying that this hearing is making America less safe for